For our next featured speaker is Valerie Market. Valerie? Please everyone welcome her.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to TGI Network for inviting me. So I came up here from Newport, drove over 2 bridges. I packed a lunch. So just a little bit about me. I know many of you here, but I'm a transgender woman. Have dealt with my gender identity for my entire life. Nearly transitioned a number of years ago, went back into the closet, dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety. Finally began my transition November 2013. Was fully transitioned November 2014, so it's been 2 years now. And it's been pretty wonderful. On a day when we are commemorating people whose lives did not turn out so wonderfully, and on a week when we get together with our friends and families and eat too much and think about the things for which we are thankful, I can only feel a lot of gratitude. But I think I can speak for everyone when I say that we're tired of doing this every November 20th. I hope that someday we can all gather on a November 20th and celebrate the end of violence to the transgender community. So we heard a lot of names tonight. We know that's only the tip of the iceberg. We know that there's a large transgender community in Brazil and a lot of violence towards transgender people there, particularly transgender women. And it does get reported, so we hear a lot of Brazilian names, but there's a lot of countries we didn't even hear mentioned tonight. And I guarantee you that some transgender people have been murdered there too. And in addition to murder, there is a lot of violence toward our community. A lot of acts of physical violence. There's a lot of domestic violence that affects transgender people. And also, as we all know, in our community, the incidence of attempted suicide is 9 times that in the general population. And when transgender people commit suicide, it's not because they have a lot of unresolved mental issues as a result of being transgender. The reason why transgender people commit suicide is that they live in a world where they are marginalized, where they are made to feel that they are less than human. So I submit to you that the suicide of transgender people is murder. There are also other forms of violence. Unemployment in the transgender community is high. Homelessness. And there's microaggressions, intentional misgendering and vandalism and all these things we hear about. So it's really hard for me to talk about anything right now without it coming back to this election that we just had. A lot of people in the LGBT community are very nervous right now, and for good reason. The day after the election, I was on a panel on LGBT issues at Salve Regina University. And the students there in the LGBT community, all they could talk about was how scared they were about how would they be able to live. Would they have their rights protected under this new administration? And frankly, I worry about it too. I've worked for the federal government for 20 years, and I'm not really feeling comfortable that my career will be safe. Since the election, we have seen a rash of acts of violence, hate speech, not just directed toward the LGBT community, but against all communities that have been marginalized, because these people, these hateful people, feel emboldened that they can do this and their acts will not be punished. So, what do we do about it? I think the first thing that we have to do as the transgender community is that we have to heal the fracturing that is in our community and with the greater LGBT community. I know for years we've had all this talk about the T being separate from LGBT, and we need to stop that. There's good reason why we've had that talk. We've been thrown over the bus, I know that, but we need to come together. If I can appropriate this campaign slogan, we are stronger together. And we're part of a much larger community. Not just gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer people. There's a much larger community of people who are marginalized, whose rights are not being protected, and who are now the object of acts of violence. They're people of color, Muslims, people of all faiths, or those who don't subscribe to any faith, people with disabilities, and immigrants. And there are many people in our communities who make very valuable contributions. They work in our restaurants, they provide a lot of services, they contribute to our economy, our culture, and our way of life, and they're undocumented. They are people. They are not, as they are often called, illegals. And also in this community of people who now are being marginalized and the subject of hate, there's women. So all of a sudden, we are no longer a small minority anymore. Now we all have talents that we can contribute, whether we are good at speaking or writing or organizing or caregiving. Right now, there's a big need for people who can give hugs. So I would ask that we make Transgender Day of Remembrance 2016 more than just a respectful commemoration of the victims of violence in this year. I ask that we make it a call to action. Transgender rights are human rights. Thank you.